I ask myself, how do people just manage? It is not fair. You people should pity this woman. Someone just lost her best friend. Best friend. The reaction that Americans are giving to Candy OS is not really making sense. It's not fair. Oh. It's not fair because they will come out here and tell you this is an unfiltered, this is how we feel, and this is it. Anyways, let's go into it together so that you guys can see people's reaction about Candy OS when she actually came out to make a speech about her best friend. Also, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Subscribe belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we use in our today's episode, right? We are not here to fight anybody or to quarrel anybody. This is just for educational purpose. This is all just bringing as it is, how they actually reacted, what they think, and how they feel they should express themselves. You know, one thing I love about these American people is you don't tell them how to express yourself. They can just tell you this is how it is bluntly without you having to question them. Let's get right into it. And I'll be back with commentaries.
Imagine losing your best friend and then seeing the graphic video of it playing over and over again on social media. I watched Candice's tribute to Charlie yesterday, and I didn't realize how close they actually were. They were not just colleagues, they were basically a brother and sister. Seeing your brother's life end on video, absolutely gut-wrenching.
The saddest thing about the Charlie Kirk situation is that we know for a fact that people are expecting the empathy for it, especially people like Candice Owens. When George Floyd happened, where was the empathy then? They spoke about the character versus the person, versus how horrific the situation was. And now we're going to see how Candice responds to this, because this was the problem that everybody had with Candice Owens to begin with. Let's see.
Okay, raise your hand. Put a little raise hand emoji in the comments if you watched Candice Owens live. I have so many thoughts about this. I'm going to try to see these cohesively and coherently, and I'm sorry if they do not come across as pure. I have always believed, and I have videos on my YouTube channel dating back to 2020. I've always believed that once you join the Republican cohort, that there are certain things that you can and cannot say. And Candice Owens told us this. She said, you know, when I was at the Daily Wire, they were totally okay and even encouraged me to say negative things about Black people and Black culture, right? We know this. But at the end of her life, she said something really interesting. And people are starting to put the pieces together. Towards the end of Charlie Kirk's life, like tragically, he was starting to question Israel, right? And if you're a Bible-believing Christian, you can't go on in good faith just defending anything and everything that Israel does. You just can't, because at some point it becomes like, okay, what really are we doing here? Period. And that doesn't mean that you don't value the Holy Land. It doesn't mean that you hate. But at some point as a Christian, you have to go, okay, let's get to the point here. Let's get some resolve, right? And Candice Owens at the end of her life said, you know, Charlie was starting to change his mind on some things. And if you watch his interviews, he was starting to question, and people were like, you know, people were up in arms. They were calling him anti-Semitic. And I believe what was also happening with Charlie is you start to, again, when you're young and you're in the Republican mindset, you just spew Republican talking points. Like, you actually don't have nuance. You don't have conservative thought. You can't parse out what's true about racial inequities and inequalities versus what's just a victim mentality. You don't know how to do that. Number one, because you ain't Black, but number two, because you just don't have enough life experience to do that. But as you get older, you start to see, okay, there's some truth to this, there's some truth to that. How do we balance those things? And I believe that's what was happening with him. And I don't know if he would have made it to the presidency, because you have to be on these party toting lines. By the way, the Democrat racial party toting line is Black people are stupid and they need our help. And the way we're going to call the Republicans racist, but we really think Black people are dumb and cannot do anything on our own. By the way, that's their talking. That's their version of this, right? So again, two sides of the same coin. And Candice said, watching the people pressure him and then talk about him is so fake. And I was like, is she talking about the president? Is she talking about, the other conservative media pundits, like Ben Shapiro and all that? Because, yeah, if you're actually a Bible-believing Christian, like for real, you can't just tote party lines, because there are some things where you're like, that's not right. You can still vote conservatively and all that, but you can't just quote party lines and just go right along with it. And so I thought that was really interesting how she pointed that out. And yeah, I don't think for one second that I'm not 100% sure that this wasn't like professionally done. You know what I mean? But yeah, just know that there is, if you want to go full board Republican, you have to spew the talking points. If you want to go full board Democrat, you have to spew the talking points. So everybody is lying in that way. But the people who control the parties are equally, they're working together. They're the same. And we have to realize that. And that's why you can't put your race above your Christianity, because neither Democrats nor Republicans are saving us. Jesus is saving us. Period. And when you throw your life on the line for a political party, you end up giving up biblical truths. And you can't do that as a believer. Guys, and there we have it. 3 days ago, before Erica's speech, I made a video responding to Candice Owen's video, and I said something bigger is happening, because I noticed a shift in Candice's content and Charlie's content. I said he's starting to just grow up and mature, both biblically, with biblical literacy, as well as emotionally. Just when you get life experience, you start to realize, okay, everything these people are not telling me is true. And so you guys can go watch that video. It's called Candice Owen's Times by Charlie Kirk, ex-Charlie Kirk. So Candice Owen says Charlie Kirk was fighting with some very powerful billionaires that he took money from over things he was discussing. This is not new, and this does not surprise me. If he was allowed to be in the campaign room like that, I know he was taking money from powerful billionaires, the same powerful billionaires that donate to both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. This is why they support the same things, kind of, right? So they'll tell you, the Democratic Party will tell you they support one thing, the Republican Party will tell you they support a different thing, but in the end, nothing changes, because they're all being supported by billionaires, right? These are the people that she's talking about. There are people, and let me be clear, because we are like, eat the rich. Y'all think the rich people are the CEOs and the people, your millionaires that live down the street. No, these are people who are well above that. So let me be clear about that. The pressure was immense on him over the last 2 weeks. What did we talk about? He went on Patrick Bet-David's show. He was on the Ben Shapiro show, and he was speaking about things at Turning Point that didn't align with his donors. And because what happens is, just like when your parents give you money and they're like, I gave you money, so now I need to see my grandkids every single week. Or I bought this house so I can come over whenever I want. That sort of attitude, that's exactly what happens, is that they own you in a way. The truth will be revealed, the messages will be leaked, and the movement he built will rise up. Yeah, we're coming into a very, very interesting place in politics, where we're starting to realize that the veil has been lifted, left and right no more. There's something far deeper, and I don't know, people are talking about a civil war, and we're thinking, oh, it's going to be black versus white or something like that. No, it's going to be the people who understand what is happening and the people who do not. The people who think our two-party system is awesome. No, our two-party system has been corrupted. It has been corrupted. That's why for the last, 100 years, nothing has really changed. Things have gotten worse, actually. The two-party system is corrupt. So anyway, you guys who are all in the comment section saying, yeah, we were right.
Charlie Kirk was fighting with some very powerful billionaires that he took money from over things he was discussing. The pressure on him was immense over the last 2 weeks. The truth will be revealed, the messages will be leaked, and the movement he built will rise up. Consider the source. This is from Candice Owens, who also is claiming that the president of France's wife was born a man. You can pause and read this if you want, but Candice is literally claiming that her and Charlie Kirk are like brother and sister. Like, that's how close she's saying that there are. There's pictures of her and him and Kanye West. I'm kind of just like, dang, like, I'm surprised that she came out and said this. Like, I wonder if she asked the wife. A lot of people are saying like the wife, it's like a dog whistling thing. I honestly just think she's a grieving wife. Probably hasn't slept at all. So if the wife is acting a little weird, that's probably why. I wasn't going to comment on this, but then I saw Candice. I have no words. I don't know what to say.
Lied about the contents of the letter Charlie Kirk wrote to him in May. It was a lie by severe omission, and it isn't sitting right with me. Candice Owens has been coming on Twitter saying some rather interesting things, and I thought that I would share them with you so that we can talk about it. Something else that she posted September 13th said Charlie Kirk was fighting with some very powerful billionaires that he took money from over the things he was discussing. The pressure on him was immense over the last 2 weeks. The truth will be revealed. The messages will be leaked, and the movement, Charlie Kirk's movement, that he built will rise up. And then on September 12th, she tweeted, Discord has come out to tell us that the feds, the US FBI, are lying about Charlie Kirk's death. And basically the internet is just kind of going down these deep dives of what are the feds telling us? What is the FBI telling us? What is going on with Netanyahu and Trump? What are they tweeting? When are they tweeting it? Why are they tweeting it? And there are certain things that are questionable, to say the least, when you really get into it. Whether or not you agree with who Candice Owens is or what she stands for, if you put that aside and you just look at the information that she is providing, it's worth a discussion.
She talked about her and Charlie's friendship after she started to support Palestine and he didn't. But she also talks about the fact that he was getting put pressure on him to not change his views. And if he did change his views, they wanted to take everything away from him.
And we laughed at how wrong it was when people thought that when I had made up my mind about Israel, that Charlie and me fell apart. Nope, never, not for a second. I said, it's the easiest decision ever, because Charlie knew who I was and I knew who he was. I said, Charlie, this is where I'm at, and there's no room for movement. And you tell your whoever that needs to hear it, whatever you need to tell them, because we're always going to be brothers and sisters. And I think my perspective was as it's been throughout our relationship. You might not get it now, Charlie, but you will. I'm only a few years older than you, but I think you're gonna see things my way. And I think, in the end, Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation. I don't think it. I know it. He was going through a lot, and there was a lot of pressure. And it's hard for me to watch the people who were pressuring him, I don't know, just say the things that they're saying. You know, there's something about it that just feels really fake. Feels really fake to me. And they would have allowed him to lose and wanted him to lose everything for changing or even slightly modifying an opinion.
To, the people who have never experienced like death, not expectant death or death of an elderly person, like real unexpected death, like especially anything involving violence or stuff like that. There are people that are your friends, you consider them your friends, and they are your friends. But once you die, they're gonna find a way to try to use your death to get attention, to make it about them. It's not that they don't care about your memory, it's an innate human desire for attention, and your death is going to receive a lot of attention, and they're going to find a way to channel some of that attention to themselves or their cause. The fact that Candice Owens is using the assassination of Charlie Kirk to imply that Israel is somewhat responsible, either directly or indirectly, is just to serve her agenda in her campaign against Israel. And it's like, give it a break. Like, at least give it some time for you. And the implications are strong. He was on a spiritual journey. He was about to find this. He was going to wake up and basically saying like, oh, he was going to say something about Israel. And then he died. I've got multiple messages in my shit right now with people doing this. This is how you guys do everything. And this is how anti-Semitism spreads. And this is how you guys get it to grow. You create these theories where Mossad agents appear out of the roof and do shit that normal people do. All you have to do is have the will to do whatever you want to do and not give a fuck about the consequences. And you can put a sniper rifle in a bag, go to a school, get on a roof and make a 400-foot shot. Yes, you can, because there are people who can make that shot. What stops them is the consequences. Normal people, they think about the consequences, but criminals don't. I know that because I have been there and I have done these things. Like, so when you guys make it seem like the only person that had to be a professional, it was a 400-foot shot. There are kids who go hunting every winter, every hunting season. I don't know what a hunting season. I've never been hunting, but they go hunting and they can make that shot. Why does it always have to be some government conspiracy? No, this is the radicalization of the liberal Democratic Party. They are radicalizing, using news media outlets, using all types of fake news, social media, artificial intelligence, bots to radicalize the liberals. And this is what that looks like. They are becoming violent because we're not listening to their delusions. We're no longer indulging in their delusions. Imagine indulging in someone's delusions for 4 years. Someone put on a costume and you tell them you're that person. He's got a Back to the Future costume. You're Doc Brown. For 4 years, he's Doc Brown everywhere he goes. Every store you go, hey, Doc Brown, hey, Doc, where's Marty? Hey, and then one day, no one. You walk in that, and everyone, John, what the fuck you still got that costume on for? John, take that shit off, John. And now you're losing it. And I'm telling you, that's what's happening. It's unwinding because you guys have fed mental disease. You guys have fed mental health crises by basically affirming them. Say, oh yeah, you're right. You are a space alien. Of course, you're a fuzzy. Of course. And it's just, I just feel like Charlie Kirk died for the freedom of speech and the preservation of the Second Amendment. And you guys are using his death to try to tear down what he did. Even if he could speak from the dead, he would not go against our Second Amendment right so that we could all protect ourselves, all of us, our freedoms.
You guys, stop what you're doing. You're going to want to hear this. Now, I'm not buying into any conspiracy theories. I don't want you to buy into any conspiracy theories either. What happened to Charlie Kirk was very real. Many people saw it, unfortunately. And I'm not going to sit here and say that someone had Charlie Kirk unalived or a particular government had Charlie Kirk unalived. Well, I got out of Mass and my sister told me about Candice Owens and if what she posted was real. And I said, what did she post? I'm not following her. And she had me look into it. So I go to Candice Owens' Instagram and I see this. Now, I don't know what she means by it. You can make your own judgment, but let's talk about it. So this is one of her most recent stories, one of her recent tweets that she shared to Instagram that said, Charlie Kirk was fighting with some powerful billionaires that he took money from over things he was discussing. The pressure on him was immense over the last 2 weeks. The truth will be revealed, the messages will be leaked, and the movement he built will rise up. Here's a second tweet that she posted to her Instagram story saying, Bibi Netanyahu also spoke about how he called Charlie 2 weeks ago to invite him to Israel. That phone call is lacking context. He should provide the proper context of what and who inspired him to make that call and exactly how Charlie replied to the invite. She was saying that in response to this tweet that says Charlie was about to lose his last major donor because he refused to ban Tucker Carlson from events. There are a lot of people shedding crocodile tears. These billionaires must be exposed for the cretins that they are. Here's that video from the Fox News interview that Bibi Netanyahu booked himself after Charlie Kirk's death.
He wrote me a letter on May 2nd this year. He said, one of my greatest joys as a Christian is advocating for Israel and forming alliances to defend Judeo-Christian civilization.
There's another video of Charlie Kirk criticizing the Israeli government.
I gotta be careful the way I say this. They're gonna try to ethnically cleanse Gaza. I mean, I don't use that term lightly, okay? They're talking about basically removing 2.5 million people from there, okay? And honestly, they have a mandate to go seek justice and revenge. They do. This idea that they need to have a truce or a peace treaty, that's morally, after you see women and children be burned alive and dragged to the streets.
Now, I'm still not entirely sure what she means by this, but if you are really looking into what happened to Charlie Kirk, I think you're going to want to piece some information together with whatever she's conspiring or whatever she's trying to make us believe or what she's trying to bring to light. And again, I'm not believing any conspiracy theories. I am looking at what we're told. But if some other information comes to be revealed, I will obviously have to look at that as much as you should. So let me know below. What are your thoughts on this? What is she trying to tell us?
About Charlie Kirk when he was alive, and I don't give a fuck about Charlie Kirk just because he was unalived. And for you people who say, but he was a Christian, bitch, please. It's a lot of racist Christian motherfuckers who hide behind that Christian title. So miss me with that garbage. Half of y'all don't even read the Bible y'all claim to believe in. So shut the fuck up. Isn't Charlie Kirk the one who said, unfortunately, sacrifices have to be made in this country in order for us to maintain our Second Amendment God-given rights? Well, Charlie, thank you for your service. With that being said, rest in peace to all the children who lost their lives while attending school in the great United States of America. And rest in peace to all the men, women, and children who have been massacred because of greed, because of genocide. And if you don't like what I'm saying, that's cool. Do me a favor. Cry me a river of tears. Jump inside of it, sink all the way down to the bottom, and don't come up for air. Because I don't give a fuck.
Candace Owens calls out Bibi Netanyahu and says that his recollection of Charlie Kirk's letter to him back in May was a complete misrepresentation of the truth.
He wrote me a letter on May 2nd this year. He said, one of my greatest joys as a Christian is advocating for Israel and forming alliances to defend Judeo-Christian civilization.
Notice how Bibi doesn't talk about how Charlie Kirk started to question the Israel-American alliance and the Judeo-Christian alliance towards the end of his life. Let's play a few clips of him realizing the truth.
That Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, that there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz-kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. The evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence. Maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, you know, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says. Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the #1 funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened? And it's not just the colleges. It's the nonprofits, it's the movies, it's Hollywood, it's all of it. It's like, time for you guys to wake up and say no more. Draw a line in the sand. I don't care if you hate me.
And then we have Trump posting an AI photo of him hugging Charlie Kirk. And guess what? 2 flags are in the background, American and Israeli. They decide to completely leave out the fact that Charlie Kirk started to question this alliance towards the end of his life. He even complained about the fact that he couldn't criticize Israel.
Everyone online is currently shocked at Candace Owens after they heard her response on Charlie Kirk's death.
And Charlie was going through a spiritual transformation. I don't think it, I know it. He was going through a lot, and there was a lot of pressure. And it's hard for me to watch the people who were pressuring him, I don't know, just say the things that they're saying. You know, there's something about it that just feels really fake to me. And they would have allowed him to lose and wanted him to lose everything for changing or even slightly modifying an opinion. And then to see them doing what they're doing today, it's hurtful to me. It's very hurtful to me. But I don't want today to be about anything other than you guys knowing that Charlie really was an amazing person. You know, he was like, we were really close. And he was my best friend and my brother. And I will never unsee the footage of what I saw, the violence of it. I pray for the people who took any pleasure in that. There's not a single person in the world that I would wish that on.
Charlie Kirk is like assassinating Captain America. And it's a little bit strange how many similarities there are between Captain America and Charlie Kirk, but Captain America's best friend was Black Widow. And Black Widow in real life is Candace Owens. Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk were best friends. And you probably just unleashed a level of Candace that you didn't even know existed, that she probably didn't even know existed. If those bullets were really, like, engraved with some trans shit, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Candice is about to rain down hell. You picked off the nicer one of the two. You picked off the one that wanted to talk to you. I literally don't get it. Independents are watching. We don't care what you guys say. We're watching what you do, and this is insane. Celebratory reactions are just like absolutely insane. I don't understand. I truly don't. You don't have to agree with it, even if he was wrong about everything. You better hope you didn't wake up all the other Avengers. I think you did. I think this is Turning Point USA. I think that's exactly what this is. The United States will never be the same. Just like it wasn't the same after 9/11.
Has never happened before. I guess we could say Charlie broke the internet one more time. 150,000 of you guys were watching, and the system just sort of crashed. And it just really makes me happy that happened, actually. It was already very difficult for me to do this for a lot of reasons, but I knew it was important because I didn't want the last thing that people had in their minds about Charlie to be the moment he lost his life. That was what was especially hard, because he's just had so many amazing moments throughout his career. And as I was saying, I was having this discussion with George this morning, obviously through a lot of tears, about not wanting Charlie's caricature to survive when the actual Charlie Kirk individual, who Charlie Kirk actually is so much more important. The caricature, the cartoon, is that Charlie's this young, smart guy, made a career out of debating college kids, decided not to go to college, started Turning Point USA. And I think a lot of people thought that Charlie must take himself a bit too seriously. And I want you guys to know that that could not be further from the truth. Charlie and me were always laughing. Yes, he was ambitious. Everybody knows Charlie's ambitious. I met him back in 2017 when Turning Point was this very young organization. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew who Charlie Kirk was. And Charlie was always wearing these really baggy suits. I mean, they looked like they were hand-me-downs from 3 generations, because he was focused on the ideas. He didn't care about his appearance. He was laser focused on what he knew Turning Point could become. Not could become, but would become. He hired me on the spot. We were at this conference in Florida. And he and I used to always say, we never said the rest was history. You know, the rest is history. We say the rest is future. We were totally locked in. And I want you guys to know about our first planning sesh. Okay. It was in the middle of Chicago O'Hare Airport. There is this restaurant that's called the Macaroni Grill. And I sat down with Charlie on our first trip together. He flips over this little paper menu as we're waiting for our flight. And he takes out this pen and he just starts drawing a map of what he wants to happen into the future, what the Turning Point organization will become. It was spastic, it was unhinged, it was the absolute best. It was true Charlie. He was a visionary. Charlie was a visionary. If he could envision it, it was going to happen. He knew that, I knew that. And what he had envisioned was for Turning Point USA to become the biggest conservative student organization, not just in the nation, by the way, but in the world. He kind of squabbled and
Candice Owens just exposed that Israel's Netanyahu lied.
I want you to think psychology for just a moment. Why in the hell would someone lie about this? Why? And Candice, she's all about truth, okay? I have a strong feeling she's about to expose more truths, but it's probably going to come in increments at a time, because I have a strong feeling she's in between, because of her family too. She's probably seeing in real time what could happen. And it's not that she doesn't know that, but it's hitting close to home because she knew Charlie so well. But why else would these people lie about what Charlie wrote? Come on, think psychology. Usually when people are lying, when it comes to that, they're trying to get the heat off of their back. They're trying to get others to see them in a light. When someone over-explains, you know damn good and well they're lying about something. Something is not right. And they are telling us in our faces, they think they're playing chess. They are with some people, but they're not. They're playing checkers. You just have to observe. Y'all, please, oh my God, please awaken to this.
Kirk, do not watch Candice Owens' video where she is showing him so much love and respect. She's basically eulogizing him because they were real friends. But if you want to watch it, hey, it's on her page. But I do want to highlight something from her eulogy of Charlie Kirk. The level of focus and determination he had to build Turning Point USA to what it is admirable. I know there's going to be a lot of people who feel like it was birthed in hate. It was birthed in bigotry. I know there's that crowd. And I'm not here to debate you if that's how you feel. Like, I'm not here to sway you. I don't care. But one thing to take away is just how pinpoint his direction was. He told Candace that we're not going to drink. We're always going to outwork our competition, or not even competition, like people who already exist in the space. Like, we're going to outwork them, and we're definitely going to outwork, like, the Democratic Party or whatever. And she said he was so focused and determined, from an 18-year-old kid to, the 31-year-old man. Like, he never lost sight of his vision. And I didn't know this, but she was like, of course, it makes sense. His hero was Rush Limbaugh. And he's like, he's going to be as powerful of a right-leaning conservative voice as Rush Limbaugh. And she was saying that, like, for example, like, Fox News is still the biggest news media platform in the United States, if I'm not mistaken. And he was like, one rule they had was not drinking, always outwork the competition. And he's like, never turn down Fox News. He's like, this is how we build our name. This is how we build recognition. He's like, they want us at 4 a.m. If we got something else to do, like, we always accept an invite from Fox News. And he just had a mission. And when you hear somebody who's that dedicated and you see the result of what it was, and then you hear people from other sides plural, not just one side, sides, and they're not willing to put that same level of work in, it's just like, yeah, bruh, there's a reason why Charlie reached the heights he did, and there's a reason why nobody takes this certain person or, takes them as serious, or they haven't built what Charlie built. And this is not about the content of it. This is just about the dedication, the hard work, the effort, like the will. That's what it's about. So if you're thinking about building something, anything, just consider it's people with that kind of relentlessness that you gotta compete with. So I just want to leave y'all with that. I know a lot of people don't want to watch the Candace thing. Hey, I'm just sitting at home, came across the For You page, decided to watch it. But you clearly understand how Charlie built what he built. Like, it's clear. And it was his relentlessness and his clear direction. He knew what he wanted to do, where he wanted to be, and what he wanted to be. And he knew how to get there. And he did it with laser focus, complete dedication.
After seeing all of that clip, Americans, it's not fair now. Eh? It's not fair. Some person said it is good, some person said it is bad, some person felt for it. Someone just lost her best friend. Someone is mourning. And the only thing people can do is immediately she dropped a speech, you took over that speech, and you started reacting back to back. How do you guys want her to feel? How do you guys want her to survive? How do you guys want her to be? Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Kendi, I'm so sorry on behalf of people that said something that didn't favor you. I'm so sorry. I know how it feels. You lost a best friend. I'm not mourning, right? So let's leave the joke apart and let's just be serious. I'm not mourning and I'm not laughing at her, right? But what I'm saying is these are exactly unfiltered and true or honest reaction that Americans actually have after she made her speech. I was trying to gather my clips that was yesterday, and I find out that some clips, I just have to remove it because it is so sad. But I love the generation that we are, that we can express ourselves without having anybody to question us. Because, to be honest, sometimes I would advise you, if you have a best friend, talk to your best friend. If you notice that what that person is doing is wrong, talk to your best friend. Do you get? Talk to anybody you know how to talk to if you notice that what they are doing is actually wrong. Because it wouldn't be fair that at the end of the day, if people are bringing reports about you, or people want to react about you, the 99% of the reaction is definitely going to be negative instead of positive. But anyways, everybody have their own opinion and everybody is entitled to say what he or she have to say. And that is why we don't just come here and judge people, right? But let me know what you think in the comment section. Do you think most of this their reaction were fair enough? Do you think what they actually said, they ate it or they don't? I really want to know, right? Especially as someone that is watching that is in the US. And one thing I always pray for, or the people I always feel for, like I always say in my video, is for God to take care of the children of the Charlie's children, and God should give them a direction so that they will not take a step like the step their daddy took. Yeah, that's my prayer for them, because he bred them to this world, right? So I pray they don't take the step that their father took, because it was, to some, it was a nice step. Some persons will tell you it was just a free will. He was just saying it out of free speech, or what. In as much as you're entitled to air out your free speech opinion, you still have to consider some people. Do you get? Because even me, as I'm here like this, even as I'm filming videos, even when I want to talk about white people, I still have to consider that, oh, these people have sympathy as well, right? So just know how to like create your word, right? Anyways, let me know what you think about it in the comment section, and I hope this video is able to help someone out there. This is just for educational purposes, not to bash anyone. We do not support any form of violence on our page here. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we use in our today's episode. And yes, guys, with no further ado, I do like I say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys, I love you. Mwah. Subscribe and come back for more. Come back for more, please. Join my membership, please. Support me with your super chat, please. I love you guys.